In this video, we will show you how to replace your front inside door handle on this Honda Civic. This will be attached to your front door panel. Let's get into it. On the inside of the door panel, we're going to start removing this trim panel, which houses several switches. For this, I'm just using a small plastic trim tool. We'll make our way in between the trim panel and the door panel itself along this forward side here and start prying it up along the way. Now on this far side here, it does actually have one tab that protrudes inside of this area approximately this far, so we're just going to go ahead and pull that out. There's that. Now as we pull this up and out of position, we can start disconnecting our electrical connectors along the inboard side. Let's start disconnecting the window switch wiring harness. For this, you want to look for this white tab. Inside of this area, I'm using my pocket screwdriver, depressing the locking tab, and now we can start pivoting this. This entire thing should pivot and pull this out and away from the switch itself. Just a quick inspection for corrosion, of course. That looks fine. Now we'll make our way up here towards where our mirror switch is located. That has a locking tab right over here. Just go ahead and press that in as well. You can use your finger or a small pocket screwdriver. We'll pull that out of place as well. There we are. A quick inspection will set this aside. Now with that out of the way, let's pay attention deep inside this area here. You can see a Phillips head screw. We'll start removing that. It's an anchor screw. Holds it to the door. Quick inspection of our hardware as we continue on. That looks good. Let's make our way up and behind the inside door handle. Up in this area, you're going to find that it has one small locking tab up along the top center. I'm just using a small pocket screwdriver so we can start pulling this panel out of place. Down along the bottom, you have locating tabs. There's our upper locking tab right there. That exposes our next Phillips head mounting screw. This one's considerably smaller than the other. We'll set that aside. To remove the door panel, continuing on, we're going to use a small plastic trim tool to separate the panel from the door. As we start having the bottom pulling away, we need to pay attention at that inside door handle. This actually has a small hook on the inside that you can't see, so we're going to slide the entire door panel towards the center or towards the vehicle, and then we should be able to lift it up and away from this area here. Got my trim tool. See if we can find a spot to get underneath this. There we go. Okay. Now here's where we're going to start sliding this. There we go, one more. Okay. Let's carefully pull this away. There are cables along the backside. Now I've got this door panel pulled away a little bit so we can gain access along the backside. We're going to start dislodging the inside door handle from the door panel. That actually has 4 locking tabs. There's 2 up along the top here that you can easily see. The other 2 are down along the bottom, a little bit more difficult to gain access to. But commonly, if you just go ahead and pop apart the upper portion by pressing down on the locking tabs, the rest of it should roll out of position. Let's try that. Apply some pressure here. There's that one. There we are. Easy peasy. Let's set that door panel aside. Now we can start dislodging that inside door handle from its cables. We're just going to bring this up into a position that we can gain access along the back side. You can pull down on the vapor barrier as necessary. You can start removing the cables. To remove the cables, you're going to find that each of them has a small locking tab. You can either use your finger or even a small prying device like a trim tool like I have here, and we'll just pop that out of place. Now that we have that dislodged, let's start removing the cable from the inside handle. It just slides right into this area here. You can either use your fingers or once again gently pry. Slide that cable right on out of there. A quick inspection of the cable. Of course, we do want to be able to reuse that. If it's broken or damaged, you just want to go ahead and replace it. Let's repeat the process over here. That cable looks good. There it is, friend. Okay, let's prepare to install our inside door handle. We'll start with the cables along the back side. They can only fit into one port, so you really can't mix them up. We'll start them in align them with the handle itself. We're going to press it into its mounting position here, lock it down, double check, make sure that's secure. Let's repeat the process for the next one. Now let's get this inside door handle in place. Looking along the back side of the handle, you're going to find that you have two small hooked areas. And if you were looking at the door, you're going to find some rectangular slots. Let's go ahead and align those hooks with those slots. That should hold this in place for us. Now we can just reattach that vapor barrier all the way along the top here. Let's get the door panel in place. Before I bring this up into position, there's a couple things that we'll mention. As far as the door panel itself, up where my hands are, there's this hooked area. That's going to go over the upper lip of the door. Other than that, as we make our way towards the center of the door panel itself, we remember we have those locking ears which do need to slide into that inside door handle. They should pretty much line up and press in. Continuing straight down, make sure you have access to your wiring harness. You don't want it down like this, and then you press this in, and you really can't pull it out of position. So we'll just make sure that's up in there. Lastly, as we get this up in a position, you also have a whole bunch of little push clips that will fit into their corresponding ports on the door itself. Let's get this in position. Coming up nice and high so we can bring that hook in. I can see my wiring harnesses, very important. We'll make sure this is aligned and also along the edges for those push clips, and then gently press this in. Double check, make sure it's properly aligned, and then finish off by pressing it in as far as possible, making sure it's properly secured. This is looking good along here. That feels good as well. Now we're just going to feel along the edges, confirming we're properly secured. If anything needs to be pressed in, go ahead and do that now. This feels good. Let's continue on with our mounting screw. Starting with our smaller screw here. Start that in. Use our Phillips head to snug it up. Now keep in mind you are only screwing into plastic. Now it's time for our small plastic panel. As you remember, along the bottom you have those two locating tabs. Up along the top is where the locking tab is. Pull out on that handle. Press it in. With that in place, let's make our way down towards the grab handle. We have our larger Phillips head mounting screw. Start it in, snug it up. All right, let's go ahead and connect this in along the back side. We'll start with our window switch. That's the larger of the two connectors. Just go ahead and press that in, listen for a click there. Mirror switch, audible click. Bring this around. We're going to start getting this in position. You're going to have to start with this area here, bringing it underneath the armrest. Just come in at an angle. Line it up, press it in. Now that we have everything back together, we're going to test the functionality of the inside door handle. To do that, let's go ahead and pay attention to the latch. I'm going to use a 1/4-inch bit driver and essentially bring it into the latch here, applying pressure on the latch. At this point, the latch thinks that the door is shut. So I'm going to apply pressure now, pulling it towards me. As you can tell, it does not release. The latch is holding still. Now I'm going to pull on the inside door handle. It should release. As you can tell, that functioned properly. Let's do it again here. The latch thinks the door is shut. Applying pressure, pull the handle. Perfect. If it doesn't release, you may have a cable issue. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.